Alright, making this video for my grandmother quick to help her understand the difference between graphic design and 3D modeling. Here's my design portfolio. Every one of these images is essentially, well, each one of these, it's graphic design, the compiling of putting all of this together. So this is my design portfolio. Now, this is a 3D print that was made from a 3D model. This is a 3D print that was made from a 3D model. This is a 3D model. To understand that a little bit, I don't really feel like messing with SolidWorks, which is the program, but I'm just going to go to YouTube here. Now this is somebody 3D modeling like a headphone earbud. Now the difference is, so here's somebody just working in a three-dimensional space. Now they're working on a two-dimensional plane, but they're working on multiple two-dimensional planes, which turns it into 3D. So here you can see that they like switch the view up. Here's another view, another 2D view, but each one of those two-dimensional views goes together and forms, you can see them moving it around a 3D part. So continuing on, doing different types of drawings with they're using a more complex surfacing, using a pattern to make the holes. Now the 3D models are actually used to create molds such as these. So this was a locker door. I 3D modeled the locker door, I sent the model over to China, and this was the mold that they came back with. Here's another mold that was created based off of this leg model in here. So this is a 3D model that was used to make this 3D print. Here is a 3D model of this helmet right here. This clip here I 3D modeled and designed into this railing, and here is a 3D printed prototype part of the clip. This shape here, all of this was all 3D modeled, and then a was a steel rule die was created, and RF dies were created off of my drawings for manufacture. This is graphic design. This is what I did not like doing at the company. Same with these pop-up banners that are hard to see, but here you have the part. This was just a product tag that was hanging off of the helmet. So this is graphic design. In a way, I would say that graphic design is very broad, but it can be used for advertising, promotions. It's always a 2D flat image. You're just working on a two-dimensional plane. 3D modeling, you can see this guy's still going at it. This is a three-dimensional object. 3D modeling is incredibly more complicated than graphic design. Really, I think anybody can do graphic design, although there is a skill to it, of course. Where somebody can do crappy graphic design, some people can do good graphic design. Here's somebody basically just going in using a 3D modeling program to create a shape for a mouse. So you can see it's a three-dimensional plane. They can rotate the mouse around. They're doing some complex things. So this is essentially product design, industrial design, 3D modeling. And you can see I'm moving it around. So now this is also 3D modeled. These are fairly simple. For something like a cylinder, you basically would just draw a two-dimensional profile and you can do a revolve. So basically, I'll just go into paint. So for cylindrical objects, you have a center line that it would be straight, and then you can just draw like a side profile of, say, a cup. and revolve it, and then what that revolve will get you is a three-dimensional part. It looks something like that, and then it's three-dimensional. From that, the other companies can create molds based off of that. So this was 3D modeled. All this other stuff is all 3D modeled. Whether it's wire or a plastic part. Same with like this plunger thing here. All 3D modeled. These are 3D models. And again, I don't know if we can find anything else. I don't want to hear this guy talk. But see, you can see in here, this is 3D modeling. So you still have your front, top, and right planes, which essentially, graphic design would just be front plane. You're just making a static image. So just more 3D models. This is more along the lines of graphic design, but these are product concept renders where I went into the program Illustrator, did line drawings, and then I went into Photoshop and I put textures on them and shadows and things like that. This is all, I guess, more graphic design. This box here is graphic design. This is product design and 3D modeling. So here's all 3D modeling. This is a 3D model that I did a render of. This is a prototype, so that's like a looks like model. This is graphic design. It's a one image on one plane that is just a picture. The 3D model is an object in a three-dimensional space that you can rotate around and look at all sides of it as once. 3D models are used for this is actually a 3D print. So I used the 3D model to create a 3D print of an exact duplicate of the model. This is just like drawing. This packaging art is graphic design. This point of purchase display is covered by graphic design artwork. This is a 3D model that was 3D printed, and graphic design label on down here was stuck onto it. This is sort of along the lines of what I'm getting into now with my packaging role. Here is a package that Jaren? This is a package that is this box here that would be folded all up, has these glue tabs. So this is similar to what I'm doing now, where you have this graphic design put on a box, and the box is laid out. Some people would call it structural design. Hey, Jaren. Some people would call it structural design. Do you smell in my hair? I think he's trying to listen through my headset microphone. So now this is, this would all fold up together and glue together. Jaren. But right now I'm working more along the packaging. So let's just see, plastic package insert. So I did show you before, but something like this. This is 3D this gets 3D modeled, this packaging, to be made out of plastic. It's still hard to see. This is a 3D modeled, thermoformed packaging. You might see something like this at like a Wendy's or something, like on a chili cheese fries or something like that. So that's thermoform product packaging. Some more stuff. This right here is photoshopped. This is graphic design. I said this is what I want this product to look like, so I did a quick graphic rendering of what I wanted it to look like, and then here's my concept that I made. This is all graphic design crap. graphic design, 3D modeling. These are renders of 3D models. And these models that I have can all be completely rotated 360 degrees in all directions. Spec sheet, layout guide, graphic design with 3D rendered images on them. Hey, there's my grandma. These are 3D modeled parts. Let's go back to here's graphic design. This is from like 2011. All 2D flat images. The design of the look. Graphic design. Graphic design. Really text heavy graphic design. Graphic design. Here's more graphic design. This, you go into Illustrator, create a line drawing of one view, two-dimensional flat image. This cannot be rotated. You can't look at any other sides on it. It is what it is. It's a flat view. Flat views. I had to create each view myself. These are actually like the same image. I don't know why they're used twice. Flat images. Doors album. Redesigned graphics. Gourmet dog treats graphics. More graphics. Weiss, buy local, buy fresh graphics. All these pictures. So, this is all graphic design. Logos, packaging, 2D images, product design, packaging, graphic design, 3D modeling. So that's all like flat images. Let's just see what happens when we search 3D model. 3D modeling, here's character design and 3D modeling. Spider-Man, a motorcycle, 3D modeling. Now in the program, you're able to actually spin that 360. This whole thing is completely modeled top to bottom, front to back, side to side. 3D model of San Francisco. So it could be characters. Oh, here's Donald Trump. So, and Bernie. Jaren, stop it. That's pretty good. Now that's actually done in another program, not SolidWorks, some sort of sculpting program. 3D model of Deadpool. Let me see. SolidWorks 3D modeling 360. I don't know if I'm going to be able to see any. Jaren, stop it. He's sitting on the table and just knocking everything off. Alright. So here you can see this guy. I don't know what the hell he's doing. Autodesk. It's not what I want. But you get the gist. Modeling and rendering a cup. So here's an example of Revolve. So here's what I'm saying. For a cylinder, they basically just made a profile, capped it off, and they're going to rotate it. And then when you rotate it, it's showing you a preview, and that's it. That's a 3D model. You can see around the entire part. If it was graphic design, you would see like the front or an isometric view, and it would just be a static image. Now that's exactly what a rendering of a 3D model is, but this 3D model can be positioned in any way whatsoever, and they're putting a handle on it. So that's pretty simple. So now the handle was created, you can move it around. Here's what the rendering looks like. So you have your image, you can move this cup around, you can drag and drop, place different colors, materials on here. 3D modeling is much harder than graphic design. So there's that. We'll just do a graphic design search. Graphic design is in another way, totally different things. It can be like making a flyer, making a okay, so a flyer for an event coming up, a movie poster, print, instructional manuals, marketing, you know, graphic design is generally printed, 3D modeling is generally made to make a product that's coming out. Now here is graphic design on a 3D modeled part. So this is all 3D modeled, and this star power picture of Mario with the stars, that's a graphic design that was put onto a 3D modeled box. So this is a rendering. This is not real images of products. They look like 3D modeling. It says graphic design, but who knows? The graphic design is probably just the artwork. More. This is packaging. So graphic design is just like the looks of like on the face of a product. So I think that's fairly understandable at this point. So graphic design totally different from 3D modeling. So I don't think I have any 3D modeling in here. This is all done by hand. Yeah. I don't know if I have graphic design, some sketches, 3D model, 3D model. So yeah, getting back to the design portfolio again. This was from my last job. This was like 70 some inches tall and like 4.5 foot by 4.5 foot base. All these parts that were 3D modeled were used to create this prototype that's right here. So these are all real parts made out of plastic that was made from this this mold is used to make these legs, and this mold was created from the 3D model that was sent over to Italy. And they went into a computer program to create it. So that's that.